every Monday on Canon 40 TV. I've got Richard from Arsenal TV, who's my co-host every Monday around about this time, 5:30, depending where you are in the world. Good evening, Richard. How are you?
Yes, good evening, brother, and good evening to everyone that's tuning in to Canon Fodder TV tonight. Yeah, I'm good, apart from a bit tired, but yeah, I'm all right. I'm good.
Yeah. Did you go somewhere today, Richard?
Yes, I did. I went down to the Emirates Stadium today this morning because it was my brother's 21st birthday and he wanted to go down there to treat himself. So he went. He was supposed to have gone down there yesterday, but got stuck in traffic near enough on the A12, and he had to turn around and come back home. So yeah, so we ended up going down there this morning. I wasn't down there that long, so yeah.
Well, listen, I wish him happy birthday anyway from everyone in the Canon 40 TV family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Before we get into this, just actually off the bit in the road, I just want to say congratulations to Lewis Hamilton, who won his 6th Formula One championship. Yeah. So he's just one behind the great Schumacher. So congratulations to Lewis Hamilton. I'm not sure. I know he's an Arsenal fan, but would he be watching Canon 40 TV?
You never know.
You never know. We never know. Hopefully. And just a bit of news, actually, before we went live. I actually just kind of peeping through that apparently a lot of them backroom staff at Arsenal have been let go, apparently. So Steve Morrow, I remember that name, and a lot of them, the head of youth scouting and some other admin staff. There's been a big shake-up at Arsenal over the last few hours. So a lot of the backroom staff have now left the building. As to why, I don't have any news on that. I might bring you some breaking news maybe later on tonight or sometime in the week. But as of now, there's a lot of backroom staff who have left Arsenal. Richard.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I know it's the academy side part of this, so I don't think it should affect the first team staff as such. Because I know that because I know I've heard bits and bobs here and there saying that the board are either going to give Emery until the Leicester game, or either they're going to give him another month to save his job. So it looks as if it's coming to the end for Unai Emery, and maybe the board are sort of not happy in the way we're performing at the moment because they know that Champions League is crucial this season. Yeah.
Well, you know my thoughts about Unai Emery. I'm not gonna get into it. But you know what? If you just kind of come into the live stream as of now, make sure you share and subscribe, and also hit the notification button so you can receive all the latest news right here on Canon Fodder TV. Right, Richard. So shall we get into the comments then?
Yeah? Yes, let's get into it. Yes.
Do you want to? Shall I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah. Okay. I've only got a few, mind you. This is going in the reverse order. So I think Arnav Ghosh, she's just referring to, actually, let me see. Anyway, he just says, we have been talking about Unai Emery regularly, keeping Xhaka in the lineup. Honestly, I didn't think it would come to this. I think Unai Emery will today be forced to play your 11. And I'm just trying to remember which one is he referring to. I think he's referring to is it the Liverpool game?
It could be either that or it could be the Wolves game.
I think he's probably referring to the Wolves game. I think at that point we weren't sure whether Unai Emery was going to play Granit Xhaka or not, and Granit Xhaka didn't end up playing. And we drew with Wolves. Richard, what apart from the result, how do you think Arsenal played? Apart from giving away that silly goal.
I don't think we played too badly in terms of the first half. I just think that for Unai Emery to take off Lucas Torreira, I think that's what killed it, to be quite honest. I mean, you know that our defence is poor, but yet you go and take off the most person that can protect that back line, and then you go and take him off, and then within 2 minutes, Wolves scores a goal.
Yeah. Ball watching. A lot of ball watching. Yeah. How do you think Ozil feared in that game. I thought he had one of his better games in the season, even though he hasn't featured that much. But I thought, you know, when he's on it, literally when he's running around and he's putting it. Did he put a slide tackle in as well? Didn't he?
Yes, he
I'm sure
did.
he put a
Yes,
slide tackle in
yeah.
the first half. But I'm thinking this is what makes Mesut Ozil so frustrating. So frustrating.
Yeah, and do you know what? I noticed that during that game with Mesut Ozil, you know, when he needed to slow the pace down, he did. And that's what Ozil was good at. He's good at dictating the pace. Yes, we was creating a lot of chances while he was on the field, but it proves that we sort of need him in the side because there's no one that creates more chances than Mesut Ozil does. I mean, if you look at Dani Ceballos, he's not a number 10.
No,
he's not. He's not a number 10. He's more of the old Aaron Ramsey box-to-box midfielder. Yeah. That's what Ceballos is.
Sorry, Richard, I don't want to cut in as well. Something that somebody else tweeted out, I think over the last 2 weeks, is that Dani Ceballos, his weight of the passes, he doesn't have a good passing range, does he? Compared to Mesut Ozil. So yeah, he either overhits it or he doesn't put enough behind it so it can reach the one of our players there. But again, I think we're comparing chalk and cheese because Ozil is an out and out number 10, but like you rightly say, Ceballos, he's more of a number 8. But anyway.
But I actually thought in the past couple of games where Mesut Ozil's played, like against Liverpool, where he came in, when he's played against Nottingham Forest, where he's played against Wolves as well, I actually thought he's actually played a decent game. He hasn't really done that bad, considering he hasn't had that much game time. Now, my problem was that when they was going to bring him in against Liverpool, I was thinking to myself, that's a bit of a risk because he hasn't had that much, match fitness in terms of playing a full 90-minute game, apart from the Nottingham Forest. I thought it might have been a bit of a risk. Yeah. But apart from that, I actually think he's done quite decent. And he
did very, very well.
Yeah, he's done brilliant.
Okay. Do you want to go to your comment now?
Yes. I've got one. It might have been a new one. It's called Habton. It says, very good video, Arsenal fans.
Okay, yeah. Which one is he referring to? I think they're referring to...
It might have been the live stream. It was the live stream that you done with Rav. Right,
and James.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I think it was just a video with just you and Rav that you done recently.
Right, okay, yeah. It was like a special that we did together. Yeah,
I remember it was that one. Yeah.
All right, and my turn. I've got Arnav Ghosh again, who says transition. He's commenting on the Voice of Reason that my brother did on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Transition period for how long? Like Man United have been in transition for the last 5 years. We are in transition. I think of course, because the manager we've had for 22 years. It's a difficult period. I mean, you look at, if we make the comparison with the nearest comparison could be Fergie at Manchester United, where he was there for such a long time, and all those managers they've had there. It's a difficult period to try and get rid of the players. Try and instill your way of playing. It's a very difficult period, and I know social media has played a big part in a shout for Unai Emery out. But I think whoever was going to come into that job, Richard, personally, was going to find it very, very difficult. That's what I think. That's what I think.
Al, do you know what? I sort of feel the same. It's more or less that it's like as if Arsene Wenger said, look, I'm going to set this team up the way how I've set it up for the last 20 years. And then whoever comes in, he's going to say, well, I told you it was hard. That's the sort of response that you're probably looking at for someone who's going to come in. But if you look at the way, there's two sides to it. Either what the club needs to do is either stick to their guns and stick to the project that they want to implement to the club, or they bring in a new manager and let the manager do what he wants to do. emphasize his philosophy. So there's two ways of going about it. But I think that at the moment, I think social media has played a part in Emery out. And I think so as, other social media platforms as well. But I think that every fan has their opinion. And I just think personally now, for Unai Emery, I think the Leicester game at the weekend is a must-win. Take Wednesday game out of the equation. It's the Premier League that they're more looking at, because we're coming into the Christmas period very, very soon, and that's where it's going to be very, very tough. Now, with Unai Emery, the board have made it perfectly clear he has to get Champions League this season without a doubt. He has to. Arsenal have got the players to go and get top four. We've got Aubameyang, we've got Lacazette, we've got Pep, we've got Ozil, we've got Ceballos, we've got Tierney. Every player that we've got is fit. There's no excuses not to get top four. But it's Emery. It's the players. They don't understand Unai Emery because of his English is not that great. And I think that's where the miscommunication is between him and the players, because they're not understanding his instructions. Now, that's nothing on Unai Emery. I think he is a good manager. He has done with PSG and the other teams that he's managed before. But I think maybe a player that's got Premier League experience and who's got good English, I think would be better, because then the players would be able to understand the instructions of what the manager wants.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll leave it at that then. Do you want to go next, Richard? Is it you or is it me?
Yes. Me. I've got one for Mr. Style DJ. It says, Jose is not needed. He will destroy the club. Now, I know that there's been rumours about Jose Mourinho being linked to Arsenal. Now, I look at it on two sides. Personally, I wouldn't want him at Arsenal because I don't want him to make the same mistakes like he done at Man United, like he's done at Chelsea. But then I look at it on another side. I think, hold on a minute. He's got Premier League experience. His English is quite well. He knows Arsenal pretty well. So maybe it could be what we need to get Champions League football, to get into top four. Me personally, I don't look at Jose Mourinho as a long-term manager. I look at him as someone who we could bring in to get us to that Champions League stage, and then we could, bring in someone else for the long term.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, we'll put it out. We'll put it out. Maybe in a chat or maybe on a poll on the channel. Yeah. I mean, how many of you guys out there would like to see Jose Mourinho come and manage Arsenal, and how many of you would not want to see this guy at Arsenal? Personally, I wouldn't want to see him at Arsenal. No. Like I said, he would have to be a short-term solution for a long-term problem, and it's like for him, he implodes almost every time after the third season. And I'm just wondering how many players would last under Mourinho. How many of them would he keep at Arsenal? How many would he keep? Not many.
I think he not many. I could probably think Ozil will definitely stay under Unai Emery, under Jose Mourinho. Sorry. Mm-hmm. The reason why, because Jose Mourinho and Mesut Ozil has a good relationship because they've worked together when he was managing at Real Madrid. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's a bit of a bonus. I think he would definitely keep other Laka and Pepe. I think that would definitely be for certain, because I saw a recent video of him talking on Sky Sports, and he said that the way that Arsenal need to line up is having as like a free, like Liverpool do. Mm-hmm. So you could have like Aubameyang out on the left, Pepe out on the right, Lacazette in the middle. And then you could have Ozil in behind to supply the assists for them. So really, if you've got your actual number 10 in his actual position, Lacazette wouldn't have to bother tracking back and coming back to the midfield to try and get the ball. Because if you've noticed, when we don't have Ozil in the side, a lot of the time when Lacazette's playing, you see him coming deep, just trying to get the ball because no one is giving it to him.
Yeah.
So maybe it would be ideal to play in a free, because I know Aubameyang would prefer to play centrally. But then if you have him out on the wing and you've got Pepe out on the wing, soon as Lacazette comes back a bit to get the ball from Ozil, this is where Abba and Laka would be able to cut in behind the defence to get in behind it, and that's where we'll start creating chances. That's what Jose Mourinho said, that would be a possible way forward. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Again, personally, I wouldn't want to see Mourinho coach or manager Arsenal.
I'm the same. I'm the same as you. I see him as a short term. I don't see him as a long term.
Well, I don't see him as anything at Arsenal, but
I know.
I mean, who's going to listen to a small podcast like Cannon Fodder TV? We don't have any real influence. Right, I think it's my turn. So my turn is Mube Guna, and he's commenting on the 5-5. The Carabao Cup we played against Liverpool, and he says, "Imagine asking to give Emery time after that. I'm done." And also, he commented on Martinez. Martinez should at least save 2 or 3 of those goals there. To be honest, putting aside the problems I had watching the live stream there, when I saw that we were 4-2 up, I thought, wow, how do we manage to do that? We've got Mesut Ozil in the team, and it seems like whatever opportunities we have, we seem to be putting them away. But you are dead sure that the defense are going to let the team down. They're just going to. It's like as day follows night, that you can guarantee that's what's going to happen. Doesn't matter how many goals we score, that the defense just cannot. They just cannot hold it together. And lo and behold, they come back 5-5. Again, the defense, no communication. I saw Saka. You've got to make it difficult for these guys. Get goal side. They just let the guy run through to the cross for Origi to do like a bicycle kick or overhead kick, and they were back in the game, only for us to lose on penalties. Absolutely, it's so frustrating.
It is. Al, it is frustrating because you think of it and you think, hold on a minute, we've scored 9 goals and yet we still lost.
Yeah.
and this is why when we also played against Wolves, when Arsenal went 1-0 up, I didn't even celebrate because I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I was like, do you know what? We've gone. I was thinking to myself, we've gone 1-0 up. I ain't going to celebrate because I know what's going to happen in a few seconds. Whatever happens, Wolves are going to score a goal. And it's only because the way we're playing. Our problems lie in midfield as well as defence.
Yeah.
Because our midfield is not balanced. We don't have the right balance. I think that, for me, Granit Xhaka, I don't think he's good enough to play for Arsenal. I don't think he is. I think we need to replace him in January if we really want to progress as a club. Now, the ideal 2 players I would bring in for Granit Xhaka's replacement, they're both Premier League proven, and they are proper solid players. I would go with Wilfred Ndidi for Leicester because I think he's quite a decent player. I'd bring him in, and I would also bring in Decore for Watford.
Mm-hmm.
Those would be my 2 ideal players that I would bring in to replace Granit Xhaka.
But you know what the problem is? How many times did I see Lucas Torreira ahead of Mesut Ozil and just near the strikers? How many times? He's a defensive midfielder, and I'm not sure why Unai cannot see that he needs to sit and support the midfield, sit in front of the back 4. I mean, I don't know how many times I can say that because Emery doesn't see Cannon Fodder TV, but to me it makes sense. Just have the guy as your insurance to protect the defense. The defense is so fragile as it is. Why are you instructing Lucas Torreira to go gallivanting ahead of the midfield, ahead of Mesut Ozil, and literally almost parallel with our strikers?
This is also
so frustrating.
Al, I'm the same as you. I don't know why Torreira is more far forward than anybody else. I just really don't get it. If you look at the way Lucas Torreira was playing against Uruguay, when he plays for Uruguay, he does the job perfectly. He sits back, does what he needs to do. But when he plays for Arsenal, it's like as if you think, hold on a minute, what is he? Is he a defensive midfielder? Is he a number 10 or is he a striker? Because you're more forward into that final third more than Pepe more than Abba when they're both on the wings.
Hmm.
And sometimes he's more further forward than Lacazette sometimes. And this is what I don't understand.
I just don't get it. I don't understand that. I don't understand it. Let's quickly go into the chat. There's been just a few comments in the chat here. I've got one from IG says, "Hi people, I would want to know what you guys think of Emery dropping Pepe to Europa squad." I did actually say that. I think personally, I want Pepe to establish himself so he can get some more confidence and score some goals, because when he scored a brace, people were thinking, "Oh, right, so now the floodgates are going to open." No. I think drop him into the Europa League Cup squad. Let him play. Let him feature as if he were the main striker along with Martinelli, so he can get more confidence. Bang in a couple of goals and then maybe bring him back in. But as of now, he's still a little bit hit and miss. I don't know.
It is, Al. I've said to you before that if you look at Pepe, he played as a striker, as the main forward when he was playing at Lille. So maybe it would be a good option to play him as the main striker in terms of the Europa League squad. I don't think it would be such a bad idea, because at least then he's coming up teams that are not too pacey like they are in the Premier League. It's not too intense like it is in the Premier League. So maybe, if you look at the 2 free kicks, I actually think that first one, the first free kick he done, I think that was the more pressure one, because it was further out. It was more further out, but then he knew that if he scores it, we're back in the game.
I mean, personally, I think the second one was more pressure, because
it was, and also the second one was
there was seconds left until the ref was going to blow the whistle, and it was do or die. And I just think people again are wanting Pepe to walk on water. Too soon. Just give him time. I think personally, going back to the question, IG, I don't have no problems with Emery but putting Pepe into the Europa League action day. Again, let him get his confidence up, let him get some goals, and then maybe bring him back into the Premier League action. But yeah, I don't have no problems with that.
I don't have a problem with that either.
Yeah, I've got James Payne AFC. James Payne, I think you're a subscriber. I think I haven't seen you on Canal 42 for a long while. But anyway, thanks for coming to the chat and saying hi. Hi to you. Another one from IG. Richard, are you Emery out, or are you supporting Emery till the end of the season? You don't look sure.
I will be Emery out if we lose against Leicester. I'm sorry. I mean, if you look at the way he's managed the team at the moment, I just can't see how we've took a lead and then drew. This is what I don't understand. What is he saying at half-time when we are in the lead at half-time? What is he saying to them in that dressing room? Because surely something is not right. Surely, because it's like we're coming out as a complete different team. One of the games that we played, I can't remember who it was, but the opposition had 31 shots against us. Our defense is not being coached right. And the defenders that we've got are supposed to be full internationals. So I just think that if we lose against Leicester, I think that would definitely be it. And the way I'm looking at the Premier League table at the minute, we are far from top 4 race. We are far from it, because our goal difference is only 1. Leicester's, our opponents that we've got weekend, their goal difference is 19. So it proves how far we are from that top 4 race at the minute.
So let's just get back to the question. So you're actually saying that if the results don't go for us against Leicester, you're going to be officially Unai Emery out. That's what
I will be. Yes. Yeah? Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go on to the next comment. And he backs it up and he says, "Please stop this English issue. I think Unai's English has improved. Don't bring this up, please."
IG, the only problem is that if his English was perfect, then why are the players not understanding his instructions that he wants for them to do? And then you've got the academy players that are mocking him. They're actually doing impressions of him in training. So that doesn't look good whatsoever. It looks as if that Unai Emery has completely lost the dressing room.
I think that's well. Anyway, we won't go into that. We won't go into that. And Ryan Gilbert 20, good evening, Ryan Gilbert 20. Make sure you subscribe to Cannon Floyd TV. And he says it's almost as if Emery wants to be sacked to get the £6 million payout. I've spoken to a couple of guys, a couple of guests. I'm not going to mention their names, and they said to me, really, for Unai Emery, he will not get a bigger job than Arsenal. Where can he go from here? Realistically, where can he go? He's been at Sevilla. He won the Europa League 3 times there. PSG. I think this could be the pinnacle of his career. Where's he going to go from here? I think from here, it's probably going to be downhill. So
yeah, I don't know, because there's no way he'll go to is it Bayern? I know one of the teams have sacked their manager already. Is it Kovac?
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, Bayern Munich. Yeah, so I don't think that the way we're going at the minute, there's no way that Bayern Munich will take him. There's completely no way.
I only thought Wolves would score once Emery took off Lucas.
I think, as I said, Al, I think that's the one that killed it. Because you need, our defense is bad. You need some sort of protection in front, but yet you go and take him off.
And then Ryan, this Mr. Podcast, he says, we can't wait till January to let Emery go. He has to go now. Again, I'm not going to join in that narrative there. Personally, I'm going to respect the process, which is he's on a 2-year contract. Let him see out a 2-year contract. And if at the end of the season, the board decides, you know what, thanks for the memories, Emery, that it's time for you to go, then so be it. But all the stuff about, calling out, wanting him out, personally, I'm not going to join that narrative there. I'm not Unai Emery out. I'm not Unai Emery in. I am Arsenal. I support Arsenal. That is going to be the be-all and end-all. I've been doing it for the last 41 years. So, historically, again, for the 100th time, Arsenal, apart from Bruce Rioch, sticks by the manager. If at the end of his tenureship, they decide it's time for him to go, then so be it. But unfortunately, like you say, Richard, if it's true, player pressure, media, social media outlets, it doesn't help the cause. Really, it doesn't help the cause. But again, that's just my opinion.
It doesn't. But no, Al, look, we respect each other's opinion. But the only thing is, I can understand why the fans want him out, because we're not performing as we should be. We're not acting like a big club in terms of performances on the field.
But Richard,
it proves it. We're playing against teams like Leicester and Crystal Palace and Wolves, and really those are the type of games that we should be getting 3 points, and we're not.
Richard, listen. I know I'm going to respect your opinion, but you have to look at it this way. Okay, last season, he gave us the same coach. He gave us the 22 unbeaten run. He gave us the 4-2 win against Denmark down the road. He gave us the Europa League Cup final, the first time in a final for 25, 26 years. It's the same coach. So on one hand, you can't say, right, I'm supporting, I'm happy, and then the moment we start to lose, I want the coach out. It's football. It's football. But again, that's just my opinion. Let's just quick get back in the chat. There's just a few more before we wrap up this segment. Okay, Ryan says, I've been fully Emery out since the Man United match at halftime this season. What's this someone here? Yeah. I'll let you have the last say on this one, Richard. What coach takes off a left back for another left back when we need a goal to win?
Exactly. That's if you're crying out for a goal, you have to bring on an attacker, not change the defense. And this is why some of the fans want him out. It's because of these substitutions that he's taken off the wrong players at the wrong time, and his tactics. Now, Emery said that he said that during that Wolves game, the tactics worked and it's what we wanted, but it's not what the fans wanted. It's not what the fans wanted. So you can't sit there and say that your tactics worked, because if you're saying that your tactics have worked, then you're only asking to be sacked because of the amount of results. It's not just the Wolves game. It's been other games as well where he's made stupid substitutions at the wrong time in.
Yeah. Well, you say it's not what the fans wanted. There's a saying that you can't please everyone all the time, or most of the time. And so, if he wanted to listen to each and every fan, he'd probably go crazy. But it's just the way football is. It's just the way football is. But anyhow,
the only thing is, it's the fans that are the life and death of a club. If it wasn't for the fans, there would be no football club. So fans have the right to have an opinion on what we see. That's
fine. Yeah, I don't have no problems because we have our opinion as well.
Yeah.
On Cannon Foy TV. Otherwise, there would be no Cannon Foy TV. But what we're not going to accept is if people are going over the top.
Yeah.
Personally, and demanding. At the end of last season, I just seen a chat come here where the person is saying that at the end of last season, they were Emery out. For crying out loud. This guy, after 22 years, has come into a club where, there was the weak mentality, which still kind of remains at Arsenal. There's still elements of that weak mentality. It was clearly there. So he still had to deal with that. Ship out the players that we think are not up to scratch. Bring in these new players, try and find the right combination. So after the first season, you telling me you wanted the coach out? I'm not going to go
in Unai Emery's first season, I gave him the benefit of the doubt because I knew that it's his first time coming into Arsenal. He needs to find out what players he wants, what players he doesn't want, and needs to sort out the different formations that might suit the team. But it's come to a point. I've backed Unai Emery until now. I've backed him till now. I just think that the Leicester game is the final straw. That has to be the final straw, is against Leicester, because at the moment Leicester are in the top 3 and that's where we should be. As I said, we've got the players, so there's no excuses for Emery not to get top 4. There's been no excuses. It's his tactics and his team selection sometimes that has been wrong. If you look at against Wolves, it might have been Crystal Palace where he went with a 3 in the middle. Really, that particular game, we was crying out for a 4-2-3-1, but we played with three midfielders. That's not something that we needed for that game. It might have been against Wolves actually, where he went with a 4-4-2 when really we needed the 4-2-3-1. So.
Do you think Liverpool have the possibility of going throughout the whole season being undefeated?
It is a possibility, but then again, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
And that's it, Richard. In football, no team in the Premiership has a divine right to claim to be Premiership winners. Claiming top 4 spots. Again, that is just how football gets played out. Man City won the Premier League last season, but Wolves beat them. No team, no club has a divine right to claim
that's what I'm saying.
Top 4.
I know that's what I'm saying. Anything can happen. I mean, Arsenal was lucky enough to go through a whole season, 49 games unbeaten. We was lucky to do it because the only thing is we had the players to do it. They knew every player's movement on that field. They knew where they was going to run at what time.
And they had a winning and fighting mentality, which Arsenal do not have. They do not have that, Richard. And you can't blame the coach for that. You can't blame the coach for that. Richard, listen, we're going to wrap up this segment of fan
Yes.
comments. Guys, I'm not sure if you can, on this platform, if you can watch it on playback, but just by chance, you can watch it on playback. Make sure you subscribe to Cannon Fodder TV. We're here every Monday around 5:30 UK time. Go through all the comments that you guys religiously put on the channel with my co-host Richard from Arsenal TV, and he's also make sure you go over and subscribe to his channel. I don't think there's any way I can actually leave your comments on this platform, but if I do, I will do. Richard, do you want to say anything before we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Channel. Or...
Yeah. There is a new segment that's on my channel. I'm getting Arsenal fans to have their opinion on my channel. So what they do is that they send a video of their thoughts on certain games, whatever they want to talk about, and their whole opinion on Arsenal. It's called International Gooners. I've had Alex from Cannon Fodder TV over there on my video on the previous one when we played against Crystal. Was it Crystal Palace? Yes. So it might have been Crystal Palace.
Was it?
Yeah, and I've had Glenn from over in the US. I've had him on there. IG. Yeah. And I've had Arsenal vlogs as well. So feel free if you want to send your opinion over. I'll put it into a video with everybody else's, and you can always have your say on it.
There you go. So if you've been wondering who or what you've been watching, you've been watching Cannon Fodder, the channel